Let's talk more about the outcomes of the Free State ANC conference with the newly elected secretary in the Free State, Polediso Motsoeneng. A very good evening to you. Welcome to the program, sir. So just from what we have been playing out on air right now, it is clear that you have a mammoth task as a new provincial leadership in trying to unite the ANC in the Free State. Where will you start?
Good evening and evening to the viewers at home, my brother. Part of the priorities that we have set ourselves as this new leadership is to renew the organization, because to us, renewal is an absolute and urgent priority for the ANC for its survival. So as we venture into this new journey that we would have crafted, flowing out of Nazareth, we would be able to say, to what extent can we bring together members of the ANC, because that has been one of the primary objectives that the ANC has managed to attain, uniting the people of South Africa, and in this instance would force unity and cohesiveness within and amongst the ANC members in the province, so that we can be able to respond to the challenges that are facing our people, the triple challenges which we have been speaking about in all these past years. And our attitude towards this priority is that we would not be experimenting with anything. We know what needs to happen. All that needs to happen is for us to effect action so that we can be able to appeal to our own people to an extent that the trust deficit that we have lost is ultimately brought back to the ANC.
Mm-hmm. And what about claims then that the processes which led up to your election over the weekend in Mangaung were not free and fair, and some have even alleged rigging along the way? Do you think that your leadership, as you've now been elected, will be able to stay the course, that the processes were above question?
The processes that led to the provincial conference were transparent, and all the issues that were raised by aggrieved comrades were dealt with as late as on Friday. And as we have indicated in the past public, that the ANC is a whole-bound organization, where there are grievances that have been brought to the attention of the leadership. The ANC has the capacity to resolve its own internal problems to an extent that its members would also be given a platform to raise such matters. And in this instance, a number of comrades who had issues around the processes were listened to, they were given a platform, and ultimately most of those, if not all, were addressed. That is why the conference went ahead without any incident.
And your team, for want of a better word, has been, quote-unquote, criticized by some who say it's basically an election of a pro-Dukwana list of people to take the Free State forward or even backwards, as some believe. Are you now going to begin to purge or get rid of people who are aligned to Ace Magashule or the so-called RAT forces in the party?
One thing that all of the communities in this country must know about the history of the ANC in this province. Since 2004, there has never been a democratic leadership election up until to date. What happened over the weekend was something that is a miracle to many of the comrades who were used to something that was not in line or in sync with the ANC tradition of democratic processes that were subverted for the longest period. So there will be issues of people who did not expect this that has happened. And as a result, we can't apportion the outcome of those who have succeeded to be leaders to one group or the other, and even put the names of whatever processes that has been undertaken to an extent that there will be paging, there will be victimization of comrades. That will not happen. We are giving assurance to this, but the culture of wrongdoing will not be tolerated in this instance under the stewardship of this leadership. Comrades would be persuaded in terms of the principles of honesty and the discipline that is expected from members of the ANC, so that we can be able to be an appealing body to the masses of our people. Because an organization that is not attractive, it will never grow. And for as long as it doesn't grow, it will die.
So do
we
you
are
think
going to save the image of the ANC so that it doesn't die on the basis of the conduct of people who are not ANC in their hearts.
will keeping the current Premier, Sisi Ntombela, as Premier, will that help you build that image that you want to build for the ANC in the Free State, win back lost public support?
We would not want the media to speculate. That is not what has been, or that would be the priority of this current leadership. This leadership will discuss the issue that will take forward the ANC, especially on issues of service delivery, because we are going to make it a norm that people account to their actions, especially those who are employees of the ANC in public offices. And as to who goes where, how, and when, that is not our priority.
But whoever leads that campaign, whoever leads the campaign to deliver the services at government level is key to that. Do you think that Premier Ntombela has done a great job of it when you look at the state of the Free State?
As I've indicated, we don't want to speculate. We'll assess the work that has been done by our employees in government, and the decision will be taken on the basis of a process that will be undertaken by the leadership. We are not just going to be arbitrary to decide on any matter that will affect our own employees.
But you may very well have to resign.
There's no decision of that nature. The ANC...
It's a possibility. What I'm asking is it a possibility?
We can't speculate, we can't talk about it because it has not been discussed. In fact, this PEC has not even met, so we can't talk about something that has not even been presented to the structure.
Let me ask you then about Mangaung and not Mangaung, in fact, the Free State as a whole in service delivery. Mangaung, where you had this conference, I mean, it's a filthy mess, to put it quite bluntly. Potholes everywhere. There is rubbish in the CBD. There have been issues with the collection of refuse in some communities in the last few years as well. You look at areas such as Kroonstad, Parys, people are battling with access to clean drinking water. People have not had electricity, they say, for days in some of these areas. When can they have a commitment from you about when exactly these problems will be fixed? Why should they trust you?
We appreciate as the ANC the brewing social tension that exists between government and the people. Part of what I've indicated is that we are going to be action-orientated provincial executive committee to an extent that all our employees, in terms of their annual performance plans and the municipalities' IDPs, would be measured on the basis of what we have committed ourselves to deliver to our people. Now, I've said we will normalize accountability, and those who are not doing what is expected, consequences will chip in. We have said that there's no time to waste time. In one of the media briefings that I held today, I said, you must expect a political roller coaster, and that is what we are committing ourselves to.
Would you agree, though, that the previous ANC leadership, be it the leadership that's in place now in government, or that had been leading the party until your election this past weekend, and even successive ones, have indeed failed the people of the Free State, as witnessed just when you drive through the province and the state of it all?
As the ANC, we are the ones who admit and will never mask our failures. Where there are failures, where there are weaknesses, we accept. But the other side, we are prepared to, as the ANC, correct whatever mistakes that we have committed. And I've indicated that this time is not just going to be an experiment of the current leadership that has just been elected. But we know what needs to happen, how it should happen, who must do it, and when are we going to be taking action in terms of us living up to the expectations that we have committed ourselves to our people. Service delivery will be the order of the day. Execution will be what informs and drives this leadership that has been elected currently.
So if nothing improves on service delivery between now and the next election, would you say that people in the Free State are justified to vote the ANC out?
Measure the success of what we are saying with action. And it won't take more than a year for us to change the situation that we are finding ourselves in. Right. There's a concept that is called the paradigm shift. That is what we are going to expect. I want to repeat. This is the era of a political roller coaster. Watch the space.
It's the 23rd of January, so next year, 23rd of January, let's touch base with you and see how much progress you've made in an election year. Mr. Polediso Motsoeneng, the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in the Free State, thank you for your time tonight.